In this video, I'm going to reveal 9 top wines that are selling for right around $60 per bottle, give or take. There's a variety of countries and regions represented, so there should be something for everyone. While a number of the top Super Tuscan wines, such as Ornellaia and Sassicaia, are getting quite expensive, there's an excellent wine that sells for around $60 per bottle that comes from one of Ornellaia's neighbors. This is a winery that was founded back in 2005. They also have one of the very top winemakers in all of Italy making their wines, namely Carlo Farini, who used to be the winemaker at Soldera. Orma Toscana IGT is a Bordeaux blend that's typically around 50% Merlot, and then they usually have around 30% Cabernet Sauvignon and 20% Cabernet Franc. You should be able to find both the 2021 and 2022 vintages in the retail channels now. Both vintages were highly acclaimed, and this is a wine that's pretty strong year after year, so you don't really need to worry too much about vintage variation with the Orma Toscana IGT. This wine features flavors and aromas of red and black fruit, graphite, mixed spice, cedar, and floral notes. This wine has ample acidity, silky tannins, and a long finish. The ABV is 14.5%. There's a lot of Chateauneuf de Pape in the market these days that's overripe and big with high alcohol by volume percentages, but some of my favorite Chateauneuf de Pape wines are those that are a little bit more elegant, with some finesse, pronounced aromatic intensity, and are a little bit more comparable to Burgundy in style. An excellent example is the 2022 Domaine Charvin Chateauneuf de Pape. This wine is a blend that consists of 80% Grenache, 7% Syrah, 5% Ried, and the rest is made up of other permitted varieties. This highly acclaimed wine was made from organically grown fruit. It features waves of mixed red and black fruit, violets, spice, and menthol. This wine has velvety tannins, abundant acidity, and is an absolute no-brainer if you enjoy Chateauneuf de Pape that's made in a more elegant style. While German Riesling justifiably gets a lot of attention, I'm also a big fan of Austrian Riesling, and my favorites come from the Wachau region. One of the top winemakers in the Wachau is Rudi Pichler. Better still, 2023 was an absolutely phenomenal vintage in Austria. So the next top wine for $60 a bottle is the 2023 Rudi Pichler Kirchweg Smaragd Riesling. As with most Austrian Riesling, this wine is bone dry. This is a mineral-driven wine that features flavors and aromas of stone fruit, citrus, and blossom. There's mouth-watering acidity and an intriguing tension. This is absolutely a wine that you'll want to add to your collection. You can enjoy it when it's young, but it does improve and gain some additional complexity with additional bottle age as well. Located in Gaioli in Chianti, Castello d'Ama is situated on a scenic site with stunning views, extremely rocky soils, and high elevation. Specifically, it's located around 500 meters above sea level. These conditions help to ensure naturally low yields and make for some impressive concentrated expressions of Sangiovese. I had a chance to visit this winery back in September, and in addition to having some impressive artwork throughout the estate, they made some of the best wines that I tasted during my trip. My favorite was the Castello d'Ama San Lorenzo Chianti Classico Gran Selezione. The 2021 vintage is on store shelves now, and it's extremely highly acclaimed, and justifiably so. This is an extremely impressive wine with tremendous purity of fruit and flavors and aromas that include blackberry, black cherry, and violets. There's ample acidity and a long, complex finish. This is definitely a wine that would be better in a few years, so it's going to be best to try to keep your hands off it and try to check in on it maybe in 2027 or 2028. It's dominant in Sangiovese, but they do include a little bit of Merlot in the blend as well. While many people just write off Burgundy because they think that it's too expensive, there's actually still some excellent values to be had. One example comes from the Mâconnais. This is wine that comes from incredibly old vines, some of which date back to 1917. This vineyard is a small walled vineyard that's less than 3 hectares in size. Better still, this producer is co-owned by renowned winemaker Dominique Lafon, so you know that the winemaking is on point as well. This is the 2022 Chateau de Quarts Pouilly-Fuisse Clos de Quarts. This is a medium-bodied white Burgundy that has flavors and aromas of lemon, lime, anise, crushed rock, and blossom. There's a racy acidity that I really appreciate. This is one that should be in its early drinking window in another year or so, and you can enjoy it over the next 5 to 8 years thereafter. Louis Roederer is one of the top champagne houses in the world. They're perhaps best known for making the outstanding Cristal champagne, but they also do an outstanding job with their multi-vintage blend. Recently, they started to number these blends, much like Krug does with its Grand Cuvée. The current release of the multi-vintage blend from Louis Roederer is the 245th blend. So the next top wine for $60 per bottle is the Louis Roederer Collection 245 Brut Champagne. This wine was well received by critics. It's a blend that includes 41% Chardonnay, 33% Pinot Noir, and 26% Meunier. 55% of this wine comes from the tremendous 2020 vintage, which serves as the base for this champagne. The remaining 45% comes from reserve wines. Around 35% of the blend comes from a perpetual reserve that they add to each and every vintage. The other 10% comes from reserve wines from 2012 through 2018, as well as some of the younger vines from the Cristal estate. Flavors and aromas include pear, white peach, blossom, almond, and crushed rock. There's impressive power, but it's also extremely elegant with a long, complex finish, a champagne that compares favorably to wines that sell for a much higher price point. Next up is a Premier Cru red Burgundy that offers compelling value at around $55 per bottle. Domaine Michel Juillot is a producer that has around 31 hectares of vines spread across Burgundy, 21 of which are planted to Pinot Noir. This wine is a full-bodied Burgundy that comes in at around 14% alcohol by volume. It has extremely impressive purity of fruit and elegance. It is made in an old-school style, however, so it's one that will not show its best in the near term. So it's definitely best suited to those of you who have some patience and are willing to give it some additional bottle age. You can expect flavors and aromas of dark cherry, plum, smoke, mixed earth, and spice. This is the 2022 Domaine Michel Juillot Mercurey Premier Cru Clos de Roi. A viewer recently asked if I have a video that's dedicated to Chateauneuf de Pape Blanc. The answer is no, but because of that question, I'm at least going to include one of them in this video. This is a wine that comes from a highly respected producer that's both certified organic and biodynamic. The majority of Chateauneuf de Pape Blanc is certainly a blend, so it's a bit unusual to be able to get a 100% variety wine like this 100% Roussanne. This is the 2023 Domaine Raymond Usseglio Chateauneuf de Pape Blanc Roussanne. This wine features flavors and aromas of citrus, melon, pear, blossom, and mixed spice. It's a medium-bodied wine with an impressive finish that comes in at 14% alcohol by volume. They matured this wine in large oak casks. The next top wine for $60 a bottle comes from a vineyard that's planted on a site that as recently as 2013 was completely overgrown and used to be a walnut orchard. But the owner saw some potential because this land was located in the prestigious Dundee Hills AVA and was extremely close to top producers Archery Summit and Domaine Drouin. So the owners acquired this land, spent 2014 clearing it, and then planted both Chardonnay and Pinot Noir in 2015 and 2016. Since that time, White Walnut Estate has already become certified organic and biodynamic and is making some world-class wines. One example is the 2023 White Walnut Vineyard Pinot Noir. This is a highly acclaimed single vineyard wine that has impressive power and structure. There's flavors and aromas that include mixed cherry and blueberry. There's fine-grained tannins, impressive acidity, and a long finish. This is a wine you can enjoy young, but it will be better with 4 to 5 years of additional bottle age. In addition, if you like the sound of this producer, they also make an Appellation Pinot Noir from the Dundee Hills AVA that sells for around $45 per bottle and also received impressive critical acclaim. The Willamette Valley is a world-class wine region that's very much on the upswing. If you'd like to learn more about Willamette Valley, please be sure to check out this video that's linked above.